To get started on this exercise, you should have downloaded the Masks and Mats folder. Inside of this folder, I'm giving you a Photoshop document and also a simple little video that we're going to add to our composition. We're going to launch Adobe After Effects, and if you don't see your new project panel, you can always go to File and Create a New Project. From here, let's click and create a new composition in the very center. We're going to name this composition the Orchard logo. The composition preset is going to be HDTV 1080-24. We're going to set the frame rate this time, however, to 30 frames per second, and the duration of it is going to be 7 seconds total. The background color can remain white if it's not already, and we'll say OK to create our new composition. Let's import that Orchard logo. To do this, go to File, down to Import, and choose File, and choose the Orchard logo type Photoshop file. When we import this, we want to import this as a composition that retains its layer sizes, and we'll say Open, and then we'll choose OK to Editable Layer Styles. As we've done in the past, you can delete the Orchard logo composition, but keep the folder with all of the layers that are inside of it. From here, let's select just the logo elements. Notice that you have a background layer, which is just a solid white layer. We don't need this one, so I'm going to choose the line and hold down Shift, the logo, and the words. With all three of those, click and drag those into your composition so it's roughly centered, and you've got each one on their own separate layers. To put them into order, we're going to choose the logo, we'll drag it over to the side, the words, drag them over here, and the little line will be in between. If yours is off by a little bit, that's okay. We simply want to get them roughly lined up just like this. Now, in addition to their placement, let's go down to the Timeline panel and rename each of their layers. Simply click on the layer itself, hit your Return key, and this is the words, so I'm going to type in words. For the logo, choose it and retype logo, and for the line, choose it and retype line. Now let's work just on the line and create a mask that reveals the line. Down in our timeline of our composition, let's zoom in to 200% so that we can see the line by itself. There we go, right there. To do this, I'm going to choose the line layer, and in our tools, I'm going to choose the square or the rectangle tool. Do make sure the line layer is selected, and I'm going to click and drag and start to create a little square just below the line. Now notice that when I did this, the line disappeared, as well as in our timeline, it created a mask sublayer. And this is normal, this should happen. To animate the reveal of this, go down to your mask sublayer and open up Mask 1. Let's set the playhead to start at 15 frames. Click on Mask Path to add a keyframe, a starting keyframe. We're then going to go to the 1 second mark, and using your selection tool, double click on the little square itself. This will give you your rectangle bounding box. You can then click and drag up to reveal the entire line. There we go there. From here, now you can see how that's going to animate the movement of the path to completely reveal what we have. Let's add some easy ease to both of these keyframes. With them still open, select and drag over the start and the stop keyframe. You can then go up to Animation, Keyframe Assistant, and choose Easy Ease. Now when it plays, it'll slowly start and stop naturally. Let's press the U key to twirl everything closed by pressing it twice. Now let's create a mat that will reveal our logo. In order to do this, on your timeline, click on the gray area and deselect everything. You want to make sure nothing is selected. Now let's use our rectangle tool. Set your fill color to be something nice and bright and noticeable. I'm going to choose a bright red. It really won't matter. And set your stroke color to be none. If you need to, you can hold down the Option or the Alt key and cycle through the different kinds of colors until you see the none key or the none color selected. With this done, now let's create a rectangle above the logo that just touches the edge of the line right here. In our timeline, we have a new shape layer, and we need this shape to be on top of the logo layer. So I'm going to twirl it closed for now and click on the shape layer and drag it above the logo layer so that it's below the line layer. Now we want to tell shape layer 1 to be the matte for our logo layer. In order to do this, click on the toggle switches and modes to open up your different modes and track mattes. For the logo layer, under the track matte, choose the word none and set it to be the alpha matte for shape layer 1. This means that wherever the matte or the red square was created, it will reveal our logo. Now let's animate our logo into position. Since it's already at its stopping point, I'm going to choose the logo layer, click the P to open the position, and set your playhead to be at the 2-second mark. We're going to click the stopwatch to start and add a keyframe. Then let's back it up to the 1-second mark. From here, we can click on our logo and drag it to the right, and you can see as it goes past that little matte point, it will erase away or be hidden. Now, when we click play, you can see it will reveal itself as it moves into the track matte. Again, let's select both of the keyframes, go up to animate, and let's add some easy ease for both of them. Now when it plays, the line will appear and the logo will appear. Let's press the U key to close up all of our layers. The last thing we want to do now is reveal the words "The Orchard." To do this, again, deselect all of the layers and then choose your rectangle tool and create a rectangle over the word orchard that just barely touches the line on the right hand side of it. If you need to, you can swap back over to your selection tool and you can readjust your matte until it reveals that. From here, we can close out the rectangle for shape 2, but make sure this layer is now on top of the words layer. So click and drag till it's on top of the word words. In the words panel, under the track matte, set it from none to alpha matte shape layer 2. This will choose the red rectangle that we created to reveal the word "The Orchard." Now, with the orchard selected, let's animate its position. With that layer selected, press the P key to show the position. We also want this to end at the 2-second mark, so place your playhead at 2 seconds. And let's turn on the stopwatch. From here, let's back it up to 1 second. And then we're going to click on the word "The Orchard" and move it off to the left-hand side from here. Finally, select both of the keyframes. Let's go up to Animate, Keyframe Assistant, and choose Easy Ease for both of them. When you play, you can see they both reveal themselves at the same time. Now that we have the logo appearing in the first 2 seconds, we want to use these same techniques that we already know to have it disappear in the last 2 seconds, basically between moments 4 and 5, or seconds 4 and 5. Let's go in reverse order that we animated everything. So let's first have the words "The Orchard" disappear. To do this, let's bring our playhead over to the 4-second mark. Then we can go down to our words and if we don't have it already, open up the position sublayer. We're going to insert a keyframe here by clicking on the little diamond. So this will be our starting position. Then at 5 seconds, we're going to move it over to the 5-second mark. And let's move the words "the orchard" back to the left. So now it'll go up and over on. Then when it hits 4 seconds, the words "the orchard" will disappear. Let's do the same for the logo now. I'm going to twirl the words closed, choose the logo, press P. Again, back up to the 4-second mark. To insert a keyframe starting from here, click on the little diamond, then move over to 5 seconds, and let's move the logo back out of position from here. Now, both of those move together. Finally, let's do the line. Choose the line layer. You can press the U key to reveal the mask path that we animated. And again, back up to the 4-second mark. Let's add a keyframe here. Then we can go to the 5-second mark and click on our little mask. Double click on it. That'll give us our transform tools. We can animate our mask height back down to this position. Now when we play, everything reveals and everything goes back down this way. I do see one particular issue. I didn't want the line to animate at the same time. So in this case, we're going to change up the starting and stopping points for our line keyframe. That's easy enough to drag it over. I'm going to have the starting time at 5 seconds and the ending time at 5 seconds and 15 frames. Now let's play it one more time. Now the line goes up and reveals. Then the words disappear and the line will then go down. Perfect. I'm going to press the U key to close up everything. And let's add some video behind everything. We'll go up to File, down to Import a File. Choose the Apple Tree MP3, and we're going to import this as footage. We'll say Open. We can then click on this Apple Tree MP4, and let's drag it down to the very bottom of our timeline, so that's below everything that we have. Notice now that the logo will play on top of this area. We've got a problem, however. We can't see our logo. We need to be able to recolor everything that's on here. In order to do this, we need to add a tint effect to our design. Let's add a tint effect to our logo part first. Choose the logo layer, go up to Effect, down to Color Correction, and at the very bottom, choose Tint. All of your effects are going to be found inside of your project portion of your panel now. It opens up a separate little effect, and we can change the color of the black and the white areas, or the light and the dark areas, to here. Let's map the black area by clicking it and changing the RGB values. For R, we're going to set it to 200, hit Tab, the G will be 65, and the B will be 65. We'll say OK to this. Notice now the black turns that red. Let's do the same for the white. Click on the white, then change the RGB values to 255, but the blue will be 0. This will give us a bright yellow for the white area. With this done, let's colorize the words now. Choose the words layer in your panel. Again, go up to Effect, down to Color Correction, and choose Tint. This time we're going to map the black to be a shade of red, so we'll choose R of 115, G of 230, this will be green, and a B of 115, and we'll say OK. And then finally, let's choose the line. To apply the effect again, you can go up to Effect. This time, you can actually just choose the word Tint, and it will automatically bring up the tint options for this one. And for this black one, we're going to map the black only to be 220, 100, and 55. We'll say OK to that. Now when they animate, notice now that they're all different colors. The last thing we want to do is to add a drop shadow to just the logo itself. To do this, we're going to create a pre-composition that will group everything together. Going down to your timeline, click on the word Line, hold down Shift, and click on the word Words to just choose all of the logo elements. You can then either right-click or hold down Control and click on the layers and choose Pre-Compose. We're going to give this the name of Animated Logo. And we're going to keep everything to move all the attributes into a new composition. And we'll say OK. From here, it's going to take all of those and group those into one composition that just has the animated logo by itself. With that animated logo layer selected, let's add a layer style. With it selected, go up to Layer, down to Layer Styles, and let's choose Drop Shadow. From here, we can change the options for this by twirling open the drop shadow options. You can see all the different things that can do to it. The main thing we want to do is the spread and the size. Change the spread to be 50% and the size of it to be 60 pixels. This will make it much larger and more noticeable. You can then press the U key to twirl everything closed. And again, you can test your animation, seeing now that it's colorized and has a drop shadow behind it. The final thing we want to do is to render our composition. Go up to File, down to Export, and choose Add to Render Queue. Under the render settings, make sure you have High Quality or Best Quality selected. For the output module, you can keep it at High Quality. Click on the word High Quality and change it to QuickTime. Say OK to that. And then finally, Output to, and make sure the desktop or your folder is selected. We'll say Save. Finally, click the word Render and give it a second to render. This will give you a movie folder on your desktop, as well as saving your composition. So we'll go up to File, down to Save. We'll call this The Orchard. And make sure to put your name on this After Effects folder.